Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brianna and today I'm talking about embracing singleness. Now, let's get into this. So this is something that at least personally, has been super hard for me. I could have got married at 18, been happy, not even dated that much. That's just me. I know other people are different. But I think no matter where you're at in life, if your goal is like you want to get married, you want to settle down, or you need more time, whatever, we still go through these phases of singleness that can be very difficult and very hard. And I struggled with it for years, and it wasn't until I learned to love myself and being okay with myself that it really became a lot easier. So I'm going to talk a little bit like things that have helped me and things that maybe can help you if you're kind of through that stage in life where you want someone in your life. Maybe it's to get married, maybe it's to have someone just like with you, and you want to date longer. Like, I don't really know your whole situation, but this is hopefully can help in some way. So let's go back to that, to love yourself. So I think especially in like 2021, but this could probably be for any time in the future, is you feel kind of alone. There's not as much things to do or as many people to be around, and I think right now especially that phase that like you're feeling a lot lonelier than normal because you don't have as many people around. So that's what I'd say, like, you really have to find and love yourself and where you're at to be content with being single. This has been something that I have definitely worked through, have spent a lot of time on, is just being happy with myself and being with myself. If that makes sense, you know? Because until you're happy with, like, I think your mind and being where you are, you're always gonna yearn someone else. And so first it's just to just being happy with like your own self, your own company, and everything like that. And it seemed like it was difficult to get to this point, but it wasn't until I finally was like, I'm happy where I'm at than being in a relationship, until I finally was like, I'm okay being single. And I think a lot of that comes from the mind, is a mindset of you don't need someone to like being happy with just like your own company. Things I've kind of changed up over the last year to get that point is one, I overthink every little thing. I'm always thinking, my mind's like 100 miles per hour, and I had to just learn to let things go and not overthink certain situations and just be able to just let them happen and not try to push anything, but just being like, I don't have any control over this. God's in control. I'm just gonna push this aside and just enjoy the moment that I have. I've turned to things that I love to do and being okay with that. So things I love is I love anything outdoors. I love fishing, I love hiking, I love camping, and I had to become happy with not feeling like I needed someone else. I've always pushed aside that someday I'll do this, someday I'll do that. One of my big goals in life is to visit every single temple for my church, which is Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I wanted to visit every single one in the world, and I kept pushing that off because I was like, I want to do it with my future someone, the person I'm going to marry. And I was like, I finally just hit a couple years ago, I was like, I can't just wait for this to happen because I don't know when I'm going to meet him, and I don't want to waste my whole life, but I just need to get it and do it now. Other things are like fishing and hiking and camping, and you know what? I've been doing all that stuff by myself as well. You can get friends to do it, but I just found sometimes it's hard to get different schedules or different stuff, and sometimes I just need the serenity of being outside. So I've done all recently. And I love to do it. At first, it can be a little scary, but just being very comfortable at and safe and everything, it can be really, really good. Okay, I'm gonna pause right here. Go and push the subscribe button so you don't miss any kind of videos, and give this video a thumbs up. Okay, let's get back in the video. So I think one of the scariest things about singleness too is your fear of being alone. I think as human beings, we are really afraid of just being by ourselves. There's the like so many scary movies and scary things in the news, and we're all afraid of being by ourselves. If that is like physically or mentally, or sometimes there can be people around you and you still feel alone. I know I've felt that a lot. But facing your fears, I didn't realize how big a fear I've had all growing up, of having the fear of being alone and having to face that fear, which has then led me on to where I'm at now, which is doing all this stuff by myself. But it's been really good to hit that point and feeling like I don't need anyone else in my life. I have had different relationships, but it's just really interesting. People say, I don't know, you see these quotes and people like advice and stuff, and they said you cannot, the best thing to do is when you're waiting for like a relationship or someone, just being comfortable with yourself and not feeling you have to depend on someone. So you can be independent and you can have control of situations and know what to do. So then when you find someone, you can lean on them and they can be your support system, and the person that you trust and you love and all that. But that it's kind of like you, God, and them, and trusting in God, and then they're there to help support you in there. But if there's still ever situations in there, you still kind of know who you are. I think the most important thing is just knowing who you are in any of these situations, and that's why it's really good in your phase of singleness, whatever you're going through, just finding who you are, because that's so important. Because I feel so torn, because I've really come to this place where I'm very independent and I can go and do things by myself. Yet this is not where the kind of person I've always wanted to be. I really wanted someone to depend on, and just support me, and someone I can lean on and just be there, and I can do the same for them. Overall, like, I just want us to be a support team, and just help bring each other up. But right now, that's not been my calling in life. That has not been where I've been directed or what's happened. And so what I can do is better myself, and just being happy with my situation. So when the time comes, it's not like I depend on the other person to define me or who I am or where I'm going to do. But I already know that, and I can just enjoy life as it is. And when I definitely, like, I find my person, wherever he is in this world, whenever it happens, it's something I know who I am, and I can support him better and know how better to help myself in situations and how to direct him. Because I think a lot of times we say we want things and it's not really what we end up wanting, truly. So I think just kind of knowing who we are and it really, once you know who you are, you can serve other people better, and help be able to direct how you need it better. And I think it relieves a lot of stress and fights. For like example, when I talk, I love to just talk. And I don't always want the advice back, because usually I already know the answer, and by the time I'm talking it out, I'm like, oh, I already know. And so with like my family, I just tell them, says, I don't need no advice. I just need you to listen to me for like 20 minutes and then we're good. But once you kind of find how you think and how you work, it's easier to convey that to someone else. So I think too, is you really have to become happy with your own company. Our brains are always moving. We have so much go on, and I don't know if this relates to everyone, but this related to me so much, is your mind is your own worst enemy, because you get yourself down. You're gonna be harder on yourself. You're gonna say, like, your body shape or what you do or your mannerisms or how you interact with other people. You're gonna be the hardest on you than anyone else, and you're gonna repeat that over and over again, and it's gonna be hard in your mind. And you really just need to let those thoughts, as hard as it is, I'm not saying it's easy, and it's not gonna just happen in one day, but being happy and being happy with your own company and not to be as hard on yourself, I think is super, super important. And it's definitely hard. I'm not going to deny that, because that's something that I know is hard for me. But just finding happy with your own company. So when you're out doing stuff alone, maybe you don't do it alone, maybe you have a lot of friends. But whatever it is, even if you're at home alone, just be nice to yourself. That's all you need to do, is just be nice to yourself. Some things I've been doing, so I mentioned going camping. So 2 weekends ago, I actually went down to St. George. It's in Utah. It's like Zion's and everything down there. And I went on a 2-night camping trip by myself. I slept in my car, stayed at like a campsite where there was other people kind of spread out. So I felt like really, really safe there, but a lot of people were nervous about it. But for me, it was like a defining point of, I can do this stuff by myself, and I don't need someone in my life. It doesn't mean I don't want it, but I'm happy with myself. I'm happy with my company, because that was a lot of, you just kind of think to yourself, I'm not talking to a lot of people, but it had me just kind of really think and evaluate and really trust in God, and just being happy with my situation and not letting my fears or saying it's like someday, but going for it. And I just think that is so important, because it's in those moments when you let yourself be free that I think you can let the most people in into your situations. Another thing is, actually last night, I went to Red Lobster by myself for table for one, and it just felt like kind of exhilarating. I told you, I'm not like independent, not like, oh, I can do everything myself, but for some reason I just really want to do this, just to show like, hey, I can go out, I don't need someone with a lot of money to spoil me and do all this, but I can do this for myself. And if someone wants to treat me that way, they can, if that happens someday. But I'm happy with myself and my own company. It was a little boring, I will admit that. I was writing down goals and different stuff, so like that wasn't bad, but definitely better with someone else. But it still was like very freeing to know that like I was not gonna hold like the fear that you might like kind of like look weird by yourself. Sometimes when you stare at the wall and you're just thinking, but just being like comfortable with yourself and where you're at. But honestly, this phase of singleness, as hard as it can be, as difficult, and at times just feels lonely, there's so much good can come out of it, because you can find who you are, where you're at. It's a great time to serve others and just to make good, healthy friendships, and find people in your life that maybe you've put kind of on the back burner or haven't relied upon as much, and reaching out to them. Another thing I've been doing, and I've never done this in my life, I don't know why, I have a lot of extended family. I have a lot of aunts and uncles, and I've just been reaching out to them and forming really good relationships, just talking and opening up, and it's been really good, because these are my family, and these are people I know who will be with me and love me for forever, and it's just been really good, just to strengthen those relationships where I haven't much in the past. So until, like, that's just something that's really good, is just finding those relationships that mean a lot and are healthy, and people that will help you through this, and through everything in life. I think it's just a great time to look around and strengthen those. But number one is, even when you're in this phase of singleness and you're being independent, or you're going out and you're making friends and you're just having fun and just living your life, my advice is not to get caught up in all this, but still put yourself in situations where you could meet people. I don't know like where you're at or your situation exactly, so that's just something that you'll have to figure out. But being in public places, or being in, like for me, like I go to church, and so I can meet people. I go to the gym. I don't know, I go and do stuff that's around people, and having situations, because honestly, this is a whole other video, but I don't believe that if you do one thing wrong, you don't go down the wrong road, and maybe you'll miss the person. Like, if you're doing something, you'll never have that opportunity. I feel like if it's right, God will lead that person to you a different way. And maybe you'll meet them once and say hi and never remember you said hi, but then later you'll actually meet them. So like, I just believe if you're putting yourself out there and you're in situations where you can meet people, then it will all fall into place. Everyone meets in different ways. That's what you have to look at. Some people meet on dating apps. Other people get set up. People meet at church or at the bar, or I don't know. There's so many different ways, and so just know, no matter where you meet them, it just happens, and God will lead you to that person when the time is right. So hopefully it's helped in your phase of singleness. I know it is rough. I'm with you, everybody. But I'm gonna head off. I am going snowshoeing. It's gonna be a little cold, but that's why I'm dressed up all like this. But I really hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know what other videos you want to know, if that's in the comments below. Well, do it in the comments below, but also go follow me on Instagram, Brianna_Jo_S. But yeah, I hope you guys like this. I'll see you in my next video. Hope you have a great day, great night. Bye, love you.